factor these polynomials by grouping. So now we're moving into just a trinomial with the exponent of 2 being our highest exponent. We will be getting some higher exponents on some of these. We're going to learn how to deal with that too. So our method of factoring by grouping is we first want to make sure that we have this written as ax squared plus bx plus c. Then after we do that, we want to find out what is b and what is c. Excuse me. B is 6, because it's the one that's multiplied by the x to the first, and c is 8. So line it up, identify b and c. Then we want to find the factors of c that add to b. So find the factors of c that add to b. And I should write this in all the same case as what I have up there, because case matters. So I want to factor out this. I can do 1 times 8, or I can do 2 times 4. I want it to equal positive 8, so either these have to both be positive, or they have to both be negative. Positive 1 times positive 8, or negative 1 times negative 8. Positive 2 times positive 4, or negative 2 times negative 4. I want them to add up to equal a positive 6. So since I want it to be positive, I'm going to use positives here. So I am adding these. I see that I want to use 2 and 4 because that adds to 6. So I'm going to replace this 6 with the 2 plus 4. So now I have x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 8. My 2 came from here, my 4 from there. Now I'm going to follow the same rules that I did in the last section. I'm going to split this in 2, and I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to work only with this. No coefficient, coefficient of 2, exponent of 2, exponent of understood 1. I'm taking just the x, and I'm factoring that out. X squared divide x is x, plus divide plus is plus, 2 divide understood 1 is 2, x divide x is 1. I've reached the end. Looking at my last 2 terms, ignoring everything that I have here, just looking at that, I can factor a 4 out, because both 4 and 8 can be divided by 4. That has an x, that doesn't have an x, so I cannot factor out an x, so it's just going to be the 4. I want a positive 4, because I want the term inside to be positive, so I have positive divide positive is positive. Plus divide plus is plus, 4 divide 4 is 1, x, no x, I bring down my x. Plus divide plus is plus, 8 divide 4 is 2. Nothing else to go on there. I finish that up. Next I need to check, do I have the same thing inside the parentheses? Is this the same as that? Yes, it is. So I'm going to factor that out. I have my x plus 2. What am I left with? I have my x that's sitting out in front over here, and I have my plus 4 that's sitting there. So that is my answer. Looking at the next one, I want two numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure this looks like ax squared plus bx plus c. Then I'm going to identify. B is negative 1, c is negative 30. Now I have to factor out that negative 30. One of these numbers is going to be negative. I don't know which one yet. So I have 1 and 30. I have 2 and 15. I have 3 and 10. And I have 5 and 6. Like I said, I know that one of these is going to have to be negative, either something from that column or something from this column. I just have to figure out which one. So if I'm adding positives and negatives, and I want to end up with a negative, the bigger number has to be negative. So 30 is bigger than 1, it gets the negative. 15 is bigger than 2, 10 is bigger than 3, 6 is bigger than 5. Add these together, or rather subtract. I get negative 29, that doesn't work. I get negative 13, that doesn't work. Negative 7, nope, still not there. I get negative 1. So now I know I need to use the 5 and the negative 6. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. I have x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 30. Let me write this so it's clearer. Split this into two. Two terms here, two terms there. I'm ignoring those two terms for a minute, and I'm looking only at this. X squared plus 5x. I can factor out an x. X squared divide x. I have an x left over, plus, divide positive, plus, 5, divide understood 1, 5, x, divide x, 1, 1 times the 5 is 5. Going over to the second two, ignoring this, looking only at that. One of the things I have to take into account is, do I want to have a plus sign or a minus sign? So I'm going to take my sign here and my sign there. I have minus divide by plus is minus. Now I can completely ignore this also. 6, 30. 6 can be divided into 30. That gives me 5. So I'm going to factor the 6 out. Now I have negative, divide negative is positive. 6 divide 6 is 1. X, no x, I write the x down. negative, negative, positive. 30 divided 6 is 5. I've reached the end. Do I have the same thing inside both sets of parentheses? Is this the same as that? Yes, I factor that out. What am I left with? What's outside the parentheses? That goes into another set of parentheses. So I have x minus 6. I now have my factored answer. Next problem. Y squared minus 12y plus 11. First thing I check, is this lined up? My x squared, y squared, okay. X, y, okay. Constant, constant, okay. So now I identify b and c. B is negative 12, C is 11. Factors of 11, it's 1 and 11. Now that can either be positive 1 and positive 11, or negative 1 and negative 11. Either way. We want these sets of numbers, either 1 plus 11, or negative 1 minus 11 to add to negative 12. 1 plus 11 is 12. Negative 1 minus 11 is negative 12. So I am going to use negative numbers there. And I'm going to replace the minus 12 with that. So I have y squared minus 1y minus 11y plus 11. So these two numbers are there. Now I split it in two. What can I factor out of y squared minus 1y? Y. Y squared divide y is y. Minus divide positive is minus. 1y divide y is 1. I need to figure out what sign do I want here. So I'm taking my sign that I have, dividing it by the sign inside the parentheses. So I have minus divide plus is minus. Now I can completely ignore all of this over here and look only at negative 11y plus 11. What can I factor out of that? Both have 11s in them, so I'm factoring 11 out. Now I have minus divide minus is plus. 11 divide 11 is 1. Y divide no y here, I have a y. Plus divide minus is minus. 11 divide 11 is 1. I've reached the end. Do I have the same thing inside both sets of parentheses? Is this the same as this? Yes. So I have my y minus 1, I factor that out. What am I left with? Y minus 11. That goes in a separate set of parentheses. I now have my answer. This is done. Next problem, x squared plus 4x minus 32. X squared plus 4x minus 32. Is it lined up ax squared plus bx plus c? Yes. What is a, what is b, what is c? Well, we only need to worry about b and c. So b is 4, c is negative 32. I need to factor that negative 32. So it could be 1 and 32. It could be 2 and 16. Could be 4 and 8. And that is it. Because then the numbers start repeating after that. One of them has to be negative. Only one of them, because I want it to multiply to a negative 32. My b term is positive, so I want the larger number to be positive. Larger number has the same sign as b. So since one of these has to be negative out of each set of this, my smaller number is going to be negative. I see that the negative 4 plus 8 adds to the 4. So I'm going to use those two numbers, negative 4 and positive 8, to replace my 4 there. So I have x squared minus 4x plus 8x minus 32. The 4 and the 8 came from there. Split it in two parts. What can I factor out of the first two parts? X. X squared, divide x, is x, minus, divide positive, is minus, 4, divide understood 1, is 4, x, divide x, is 1, multiplied in with that 4 is 4. Check my signs. I have a plus here, I have a positive number there, so positive, divide positive, I want this to be a plus sign here. Now I completely ignore that, and I look only at 8x minus 32. What can I factor out there? Both can be divided by 8. That has an x, that doesn't have an x, I can't factor an x out. Positive divide positive is positive. 8 divide 8 is understood 1. X, no x, I carry the x forward. Minus divide plus is minus. 32 divide 8 is 4. I've reached the end. Do I have the same thing inside the parentheses? Yes. I factor that out. So I have x minus 4 times x plus 8. And there's my answer. I'm finished.